What's up, everybody? Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Unscripted. Look very studious, man, with the shades there, man. Good friend is in the building, of course. He is EC3. He's in the car of the outside of the NWA tapings, live tapings currently. So it should be lots of fun. Any little Sports Kita unscripted exclusive little scoop that you can give us about the upcoming tapings?
Yeah, well, I mean, the NWA 77 will come into New York. That is August 16th. Setting up for the big Roku push. We're starting that July 29th, 8 p.m. I think it's 5 o'clock and 8 p.m. on the Roku channel. So that's a big deal. Of course, EC3 is responsible for all of the good things that have happened to the NWA, from the Roku deal to another blockbuster event. NWA 77 in New York City. And I believe, unbeknownst to me, but upon whatever victory I may have had today with my tag team partner, Pretty Boy Smooth, my young and up-and-coming giant, will be in perhaps a tag team title match at 77. So, you know, I'll say this company is a lot more efficient, well-run, and better when I do hold championship gold. So that's probably a good move for the NWA. And it's a good move for the fans in New York City. August 16th, come see NWA 77 in New York. I think it's Long Island area. I don't know the building, but I hear it's cool, and I hope to see you there.
Did you say Wrong Island?
Yeah, Long Island.
It sounded like you said Wrong Island.
Wrong Island.
Which would be a pretty cool derogatory term for Long Island if you're there to cut it as a heel. That would be really nice.
I did. Okay. You got me. I said that on purpose. That was fun.
Very nice.
It popped me in my head as I was ranting. So, yeah, but when you get me fresh off of a show, like, you know, because nobody can do a freaking wrestling show under 4 hours, but a long day, shooting promos, working matches, advising all the talent, because I'm a veteran and a locker room leader, and I'm so well respected because they know I'm a physical marvel and a genius. Like, my brain shot. So I don't know what we're about to get into, but I can assure you that it'll be word vomit mixed with some word salad, and I'm going to serve it up nice to the fans of Unscripted. So make sure you comment below. Make sure this is a super chat show, right?
It is. We already got super chats ready to rock and roll.
Send a buck or two Dr. Chris's way, and I will answer any query you may have about this industry we allegedly love, professional wrestling, or just life in general. So shoot them.
Yes, indeed. SK Nation, let us know if you can hear both of us. We hear someone said we can't hear you, but the other person says let's go. So, and the other person has a super chat. So so let us know where we at as far as hearing. All right.
Chris, you can hear me, right?
All clear, I hear. It
Okay.
says all clear, so they can hear us. I think one person just can't needs to fix her
Turn the
computer.
thing up.
So, yeah. All right. So this is unscripted, man. We'll get into a super chat here. We'll get into all the super chats here, but yeah, man. Let's just shoot up some topics, man. Let's start off with Goldberg. Let's start off with Goldberg. We talked about
Bill,
Goldberg before. Yeah, with
Big Bill.
Big
What's
Willie
he
style.
up to? He's coming
Big
back,
Willie.
huh, for a big Saturday morning slam show.
Yeah, Saturday morning slam. You know what? There wasn't that a thing in WWE for like a hot second.
Yeah, you want
Saturday
to.
morning slam.
Before we get to Bill, I'll tell a little quick story about it. But
Yeah.
it was the show. It's a cool concept. So kids wrestling, I think it was WGN, but the idea was they wanted to scale some things back in the matches so it's not like super physically violent. So
Mhm.
we weren't allowed to like do neck holds or punches and things, which I'm cool with. Anytime you can throw a little like curveball or a handicap, make a wrestler think outside the box. And
Yeah.
I had the Saturday morning slam match with Cesaro, aka Claudio. It was like a really good match, and in the midst of it, like he did the giant swing, like around, and dude, you put me in like a car that spins too fast, and I'm gonna be nauseous. So I cannot
Mhm.
spin for the life of me. And then that was the first time I've ever been in it, and like three tilts in, I remember I'm like, I accepted death, and I
Mm.
welcomed it while I was swinging there because I'm like, this is just the worst for me. But eventually, I survived and like got launched out of it. Some stuff happens, right? And EC3 does I would call it a suicide dive, but since it was Saturday morning slam, I'll call it a sweet dive,
There you
where
go.
I jump out of the ring. I had Claudio through the middle top rope, boom, blast him. But I land and my kneecap pops out.
Mm.
Ouch, right?
Yeah.
So I'm laying there and I still have a match to finish because I believe I was going to actually springboard off the top rope. But I'm like, oh my God, my knee is out of location here. So 2 weeks earlier, I was watching Lethal Weapon 2, where Mel
Mhm.
Gibson has to dislocate his shoulder. And then to get out of the straitjacket, then he pops it back into place. So I'm
Mhm.
laying on the ground and I just start jamming my knee into the ground as hard as I can, pop it back into place, toss Claudio back in the ring, jump off the top. I did not springboard because I could not jump. Wipe out, he hits his finish, I lose. But I think I'm the only man to have ever been injured and required surgery after a Saturday morning slam match. So,
Wow. Wow. Shout out to everything that you just said. That is much more intriguing than anything that we can talk about as far as the current day WWE. That was really interesting. I love just little nuanced stories like that probably was never shared or maybe shared once or twice ever. I think that stuff like that is really interesting. A few things that I take from that. One, um, what a headline. EC3 discusses a near-death experience in the ring. So
right
that
off the
that
bat,
alone,
click that. Yeah.
yes, yeah, that alone is going to click a bunch of people to look at this. Two, the very fact that you were in a Saturday morning slam match. I remember watching maybe one or two episodes of that, and I was like, man, this is like uber kid friendly. And I
Yeah.
remember they would do like certain cuts of like when they would do a bump, they would take the cut away and they would show it to like the audience when they would do like a bump. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
So
like it was fun. And if you don't have to, sometimes, especially when you're in the hellacious landscape of every day you think you're getting fired in the WWE, walking on eggshells, like if you can just relax and go out there, oh, let's have a 5 minute match where we do some wacky stuff. It's fun.
yeah, yeah. Who came like that was still during the Vince McMahon era. How did that concept even come about? Was it just money was good on the table and they just wanted to a Saturday morning show, and WWE was like, "Sure, we'll take the bait."
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure how long it lasted
It
after
was
the
a
show.
hiccup. It was very
Yeah.
short. Yeah.
And it was, yeah, so you'd think at least a year, but I don't even think it lasted a year. And I don't think it was anything other, like, it wasn't a success, but I don't know, man. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see now how long it lasted. It was Saturday Morning Slam. Yeah, it was 38 episods.
All right, almost a year.
So it didn't even
And
last a year.
dude, I don't
It was
remember who it
from
was a year.
August 25th, 2012. August 25th, 2012 to May 11th, 2013.
I don't
9
remember.
months.
There was a Heath Slater match that was so hilarious and funny. I don't remember who's it
Mhm.
might have been Brodus Clay, but it was just complete, deep south wrestling, just hijinks and
Really?
just fun. So
Who came up with the idea of like, this is the people who we want to be a part of the show?
it was basically the C team. So it was like who's not doing anything on fake NXT. I think that was a redemption era too.
Mhm.
So it's just like who's a warm body that we don't care about that much.
Who was the like the creative who was on the creative staff for Saturday Morning Slam? And even and you're in creative now, so you understand the mindset behind being a part of anything and everything to make things better and to make
Yeah,
things cool. But in my mind, like say if you were like on the creative staff on WWE and you're like, yeah, I want you to do Raw and I want you to do Saturday Morning Slam as well. Do you remember who you were reporting to as far as like agents and creative staff?
I think the agents were just the regular TV agents. I would say I think Arn would do it, and Mike Rotunda, maybe
Hmm,
Jamie Noble,
okay.
but I don't think it was any sort of deviation of like as far as like you're on Saturday Morning Slam duty today, Arn.
Hmm,
It was kind of like here are the 7 matches you have, and we have to film SmackDown, Saturday Morning Slam, and whatever else we have to film. As far
yeah.
as creatively, there wasn't any like progressive storylines. So I think it was dartboard in the production meeting. That'll
Yeah.
do. All right, give
Uh,
them 6 minutes and no headlocks.
was it tape before Raw or tape before SmackDown?
I believe SmackDown.
Okay, gotcha. Tape before SmackDown. Hey, we just need a body out here for this Saturday Morning Slam gig. Hey, EC3, all right, get out there and go against Cesaro. Just
Yep,
just a random thing. Very
no
interesting.
problem. But like Cesaro's so good and so cool. He has like all these like bags of tricks you never get to see that are kind of like hokey and fun, because usually he's doing serious European uppercuts and chucking people on their heads. But
Mhm.
like in this moment, yeah,
Mm.
nonsense. Nonsense reigned.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting concept. Didn't even last a year in the last 9 months, and maybe it makes me wonder, like, in their mind, what were they thinking as far as like, oh man, this is a disaster, this is a no go. Let's go ahead and put the kibosh on this. Uh, I Were they expecting ratings from that? Like, I don't know. It just
You
doesn't
know,
seem like how they would expect success. What would be deemed successful in this project?
I wouldn't say it was unsuccessful. I think it was a WGN thing. And then do ratings, I mean, at that time they mattered more, I guess, than they do now. But
Yeah,
again, what do you expect to get? I mean, it
right.
seems it would be like to me that's a house money atmosphere that if 100,000 people or 500,000 are watching it, it's 500,000 more that wouldn't be watching it because we weren't on Saturday morning. So
And it does make me wonder, like stuff like that makes it make more sense as far as why are we paying you? Oh, okay, we can use you for the WGN project. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people just sitting back there and catering that they're just I mean, they're using their money to pay these people and they're not using them. So it makes sense as far as okay, well, at least we'll get some of our money's worth if we use this person for these random projects.
So what's up with Goldberg?
Yes, Goldberg.
It's
So he'll be competing next week against
on Saturday
Gunther
Morning Slam, which is Saturday
at
Night
Saturday morning.
Main Event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. That's the PG version of Saturday Night's Main Event. Yeah, so it's interesting, man, because I know that's both of us have talked about Goldberg on previous shows, and there's a few scenarios that can come out of this. One, it could be just a send off for Goldberg, last match in Atlanta. They are promoting his last match, this being his last match. That doesn't really mean anything as far as just could it be a red herring? Could it be legit? We don't know. So when it comes to that, it could be legit. This could be Goldberg's last match. However, could be some monkey wrenches thrown in there as far as does Goldberg actually win another world championship and Seth Rollins cashes it in.
Oh,
However, let's tap into the creative mind of EC3. How would that benefit someone who was a staple person in the company and that you want to build your company around? At least one of the people you want to build your company around, that being Gunther. You've got, and again, I've said this many times before, huge Goldberg fan. He's one of my top 10 of all time, probably. But at the same time, from a business standpoint, it makes it absolutely no sense. So if the creative mind of VC3 is there in WWE, you're thinking business, you're thinking revolving your company around Gunther, and this definitely could hurt him, especially when he lost to WrestleMania to Jey Uso this year, lost to WrestleMania to Sami Zayn last year. So he's not very good he doesn't have a good WrestleMania track record. Now this could be another opportunity for him to have him being a marquee spot, get the rug pulled out of him again. How is that helping build the company around Gunther? And how would you create? How would your creative mind try to piece together all of this?
yeah. There's a lot of moving parts. I think we talked about it on Sportskeeda, the Wrestling Outlaws.
Yeah.
And but you and Vince talked about it prior, but I saw it was on the sheet and I kind of brought it up and you go, all right, how would you book it? Oh, how would I book it? I would have a ding ding ding, Goldberg spear, set up the jackhammer, Gunther slide behind him, spin him around, clothesline him, bring him up, lock in the hold, end scene. But then you got to throw in the fact, all right, it's Atlanta, build as Goldberg's last match. There's a story to that now, and then does it do him favors to go have a prolonged match and lose to Gunther? Because some of Goldberg's best work is kind of like the sporadic, like chaos atmosphere,
Yeah.
finisher spamming, fire, and that's cool as a business. But then, like, what will get people talking? Gunther winning, cool. You're building a foundation of a hell of a talent who's been built up very well. And occasionally the bad guys do have to lose. So I don't think losing at WrestleMania twice is necessarily a death sentence, nor would be losing to Goldberg in this situation. But then I didn't think about him Goldberg winning at all until you brought it up in that sense, where I was like, a red herring and Goldberg possibly winning. And then you don't know what's going to happen after that, because then you have a Gunther rematch. You have a Seth Rollins possibly cash in. You have Goldberg with the title. Like, you're definitely attracting attention to tune in to see what happens. So there's a cliffhanger to that is kind of
Yeah.
enticing. My perfect world,
Yeah.
not even thinking about. Go ahead.
No, your perfect world.
Yeah,
Please fish.
not even thinking about the fact it was Atlanta, Goldberg last match, and him possibly winning. Okay, what if he did win? Okay, and then what if they had the big party on Raw? And he does a lot of this now for nostalgia and for his kid, right? Because he wanted his kid to see him wrestle.
Mhm.
Or if, like, he had the son in the ring, he's got the title, yeah, or maybe even do it after the match. But then, Braun and fucking Big Oos come in and like lay him out and whap whatever. I mean, what if Rollins curb stomped his son? Like that's
Mm,
you know what I mean?
that'll be interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that'd be. Then you got some heat behind that feud. Maybe
yeah.
it's not a cash in and a statement, and he's gonna cash it in.
Hmm.
So there are options. No matter what happens, I think Gunther's going to be in a tremendous spot to be a fixture in the company for a very, very long time. Smart booking is on putting him over and building like legend leaving last match. You do the favor on the way out. That's just the way it has to be.
Hmm.
At least I think so. Where you put over the next dominant force, passing the torch is a very real thing, and I don't think we've gotten it to an extreme in WWE sometimes, because sometimes that torch passes went to like already established guys. Like Flair went to Michaels, right?
Brock
Michaels,
beating
yeah,
Taker.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and Michaels went to Taker. Brock beat Taker. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
trying to think of like when Cena did Reigns at that one SummerSlam a while back, and I'm trying to think of like that wasn't necessarily the full torch pass,
Yeah.
like a
Reigns beat
significant.
Taker at Mania. It's another one.
Yeah, but
That's
then it
another
was
touch
after the
pass.
Brock one, so didn't
Yeah,
have this
exactly.
uh,
Yeah.
to it. I mean,
Didn't have the
there's
sizzle.
definitely options. It's
Yeah.
definitely options, and it's better than having none. Smart money's on Gunther choking that old bastard out, to my mind.
Why not? I mean, I guess that I understand. I understand where you're at when it comes to just adding that suspense to the Saturday Night's main event card, causing that Monday cliffhanger as far as Goldberg winning. I get it. I understand that. I'm cool with it. Of course, we'll get the super chats. So load up the super chats. We got a good audience today. So thank you so much for that. So here's the thing, man. This is what's interesting to me. So I I think the very fact when we do these commentary shows, when we you and I would do weekly shows together, a lot of these podcasts is really the currency of these podcasts are the what ifs. And so I get it and I'm cool with it. But at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like, let's not get too far off and let's not romanticize this thing too much. I think less is more when it comes to something like this. And I do think that Gunther's career has been compromised this year in many ways, man. He has not, but he has not been booked strongly at all. Now, your WrestleMania thing when it comes to a heel, I understand that too. I can understand that logic. A lot of people crap on the Sami Zayn beating Gunther thing. That actually, I can understand why people crap on that, and it's not the most favorable decision. But Gunther's his Intercontinental title build was so good, man. Beating, just going plowing through competition as a monster. That's the way to build the heel. Going through Ricochet, going through Braun, going through Drew, going through Sheamus, going through Drew and Sheamus in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. So I get that, and I'm fine with that logic. Machine Monster loses to a Rocky Balboa style babyface. Okay, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, what about this year, though? He has not been booked as a monster. He has not been billed very strongly. So if you have someone like a Goldberg who comes in just for a one off, potentially, and it's like there's already an adverse effect from the fans. The fans are trying, doing their best and trying to say, we don't want you here, which again, I don't like that logic. I'm going to go the old Berg and all that. Like, I'm like, man, that's IWC just being IWC, because if that's the case, do the same thing to when the Undertaker competes, before he left and stuff like that. I don't understand that. I think Goldberg and Undertaker both are legends and relics in their own way. You know what I mean? So I don't like that logic. But I do think that Goldberg should be for get your money, get your bag, send off, if there's anybody that should be a proper send off for Goldberg to, he gets choked out, he passes out, he tries to go for the ropes. Gunther pulls him back. He tries to go again. So you're already doing the ebb and flow with the crowd right there. And to your point, to your creative point, I think that's where you go into the boom, 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 hard hitting, jackhammer attempt. Gunther goes behind, then you do the choke. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then that's when you start the emotion and the psychology of the crowd of going for the ropes, Gunther pulling back, going for the ropes, Gunther pulling back, and he doesn't tap out, but he passes out. So that's that extra, and that's the extra sense of I'm still a man's man that I didn't tap out, and but I'm still putting Gunther over. Gunther celebrates. Goldberg's passed out. Gunther goes up the aisle. Goldberg wakes up from the choke out. Boom, there's your celebration, and then it's a win-win to me.
You got to go out on your shield as a legend. I think that's an obligation.
Yeah,
Paying it forward to the business that has made you a household name and a lot of money. And we were talking creatively outside the box scenarios. That's the right call.
mhm.
And I don't disagree. Like a don't want to say rehabilitation, but a very, 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 very strong Gunther is a very, very, very strong foundation to build, the next 5 years upon at
Yeah.
least. So, but I mean, come on. His kid getting curb stomp's kind of fun.
I mean see to me that's where you do like a two a day. Like come on Goldberg. Like we'll pay you some extra money to appear on Monday. You do your send off. Gage is with you. Then all of a sudden you get attacked by Seth, and that's a way off. But I don't think Goldberg being a prideful person as far as him in the business. I don't see how that being the last time we see Goldberg would be something that he would be okay
No.
with at the end.
He
Yeah,
needs like a warrior legend pave the way.
yeah,
You go out in defeat, but you go out with respect.
yeah, yeah.
And seen,
Exactly. Yeah,
I just, you mentioned him being a proud guy. I don't know. I've not worked with him, but I just hope it wouldn't be like that sheet. Like some of these guys have it in their head that this shit is real and you can't be beat, and it's not. And you got to do the job, and
yeah, yeah.
hopefully it does.
Indeed. All right, we got one super chat before we are out of here. We got Awesome Sauce, $5. EC3, I've watched wrestling for 41 years, and the double turn with you and Matt in TNA in 2016 is one of the best storytelling matches ever. Any memories?
A lot, thank you. And real proud of that one. It was like a big coming up moment for me in the aspect of storytelling, and Matt Hardy is a guardian angel and a guide in that essence. And I always love Matt, and he was very, 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 very beneficial to me, not only in my career but in my life. He's just a good dude, and yeah, telling that story was really cool. It was kind of in the dark. That was like the Destination America going to Pop TV and the World Title
Yeah.
Series. So a lot of the I hate it, but a lot of the great work is done in some time when it's kind of like surrounded by innocuous business things that are out of our control.
Hmm.
But one thing I did learn from that is like no matter what is out of your control, you can't worry about, and what you can worry about is what's in your control. And putting that together and letting it play out with Matt was, one of my favorite matches, really, and favorite angles. And I would say top three double turns. I mean, I'm not going to say it's better than Austin and Brett because it wasn't. Nothing was. But I can't think of, especially because TV wise, the crowd we had, I think that was Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. They're not like up to date in as much of what's happening in the weekly of the television. They just know
Hmm.
we like Matt and we don't like Healy C3. But then to have them turn, like that was genuine and very fulfilling. It was my first TNA loss, but I still was not pinned yet. And if I have one memory of it, like to build the turn and as a babyface, like I'm down and out, I have no chance. But like I kept getting up. I think it was like Twist of Fate. I think it was like some wild. chair shot. I think it was the twist of hate where he does it in the chair, and
Mhm.
like I kept coming up, and then EC3's pride. You know, the great thing about creating great characters is what you would call the sacred flaw. Is like what's their biggest drive is sometimes their biggest detriment. Yeah, this is how I look at storytelling, guys. But Matt, final death blow, taking the title, killing me with it. And like that was the thing that kept me down. The thing I wanted, the thing I cherished, the thing I would stab my own aunt in the back to get was the one thing that beat me. So
Mhm.
that was a little bit of storytelling aspect I liked about it.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. Always a pleasure, man. It's just so seamless talking to my bruv,
No thanks.
EC3. Absolutely, man. Let the listeners know more about where to find you and all things
All
ec3.com.
right.
It's
Yeah.
not a real website, but that sounds like a really cool promo website.
Uh, Fans at the real EC3 on the socials. I'm really bad at posting, especially because I'm writing a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
actually do cover one of my things. I call it the Goldberg paradox
Mhm.
about hard working and the entitlement. It's a wild ride. He won't be happy if he reads it, but it's all true.
Mhm.
And I do talk about the Saturday morning slam match in that. But it's not a book about just me. It's about what I've learned through life through wrestling. So if it's ever done, I'll talk about it later. But
That's
at the
amazing.
real EC3 on the socials, where I'm not posting a ton because I'm writing too much nonsense. Uh, NWA Exodus, my affiliate, my territory of the NWA. I'm building some hella good talent that I want the world to see. They should be in this car here, but like the Pretty Boy Smooths and the Cristiano Argentos, Dante Casanovas, Slade Spencers, guys I'm building up and pushing in the right way, doing it right. So check us out at Exodus Pro. And then also we live stream our events sometimes on the NWA YouTube. Next show being 8-9 in Cleveland, Ohio for Watch the Throne. Any
Ooh.
aspiring wrestler, you want to get into my knowledge, into my brain, come to our preface seminar the day before. Myself and Aaron Stevens tell you everything that's wrong with the business and tell you how to correct it. And that's 8-8. Then NWA, yeah, 77 will be in New York City the 16th. So those are three things I will plug.
Awesome, man. Wonderful.
All right.
Be sure to check out Pancakes and Power Slams right after the show. I was trying to figure out what to talk about, but I came up with an interesting idea. Bret Hart and I share the same birthday. And so, yeah, yeah, we share the same birthday. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to tap into. I have a criminal justice with a specialization in behavioral science master's degree. So I do a lot of criminology stuff too on my other personal YouTube with like true crime and psychology and theology and stuff. So I was like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? This class is going to be the psychology of a hitman. So I'm going
I
to
like
go
it.
in, yeah. So I'm going to go into talking about different types of hitman and psychology behind it and motives and things like that. So it's going to be pretty fun. So yes, indeed, go check out Pancakes and Power Slams. I want to do that live right after this show. This guy right here is EC3. I'm Dr. Chris. This is Unscripted. Have a good night, everybody.
So long.
Solo.